Joining us now with more, two Republican House lawmakers, Congressman Brandon Gill and Congressman Mike Lawler. Congressman Gill, we'll start with you. What do you see happening in the House? Is it really going to be the paradigm moving forward for Democrats that they'll echo the chants and the smiles of Zohran Mamdani and they'll push Marxism, socialism? How is that going to work in your district? How is that going to work in Middle America?
Well, that's not going to work in my district. It's not going to work for anybody in this country. And what you see in the House right now is Democrats utterly apoplectic that we are reopening the government, that we're getting air traffic controllers paid, that we're getting TSA agents paid, that we're getting the government working back for the American people as it should be. And you see Democrats up in arms. Why? They knew the entire time that they were shutting the government down, that what they were doing was utterly nihilistic, that they were throwing a Hail Mary pass to save Chuck Schumer's political future so that they could push unrealistic policy goals that were never going to materialize. They were trying to give health care to illegal aliens, launder our tax dollars to left-wing social media companies, pay for global LGBTQ awareness campaigns. None of those things make life easier or better for the American people. And I think what the American people can see now is you can see that Republicans are working to make life better and Democrats are creating chaos.
You know, Congressman Lawler, we showed this last night, multiple elected officials on the Democratic side saying, yeah, we know Americans are going to get hurt. We know that, but it's the only leverage that we have. And they keep repeating that refrain. And then they tried to make it about Obamacare and subsidies and extending subsidies, but they really were asking for hundreds of billions in money for illegal immigrant health care. They really were asking for refunding NPR and PBS. They really wanted DEI worldwide, not even spent in this country. Wasn't that their real proposal, to open the government for 7 weeks, $1.5 billion price tag?
Well, you know, Sean, it didn't take long for the euphoria to wash away for the Democrats from last week's elections. They are absolutely divided right now. And no question, what they were pushing for was to give health care to illegal immigrants, to reverse many of the common sense reforms that were put in place in the One Big Beautiful Bill. And the fact is, this was always about showing their far-left radical base that they were standing up against Trump. That's all this was. And Chuck Schumer cannot face more criticism or contempt from the American people for what he put them through over these past 42 days, all in an effort to show that he was fighting for the far-left radical base. And, you know, there's a few Yiddish words, Sean, that adequately describe Chuck Schumer: schmuck, putz, and shanda, because he is a disgrace, and he has created an absolute... Of course, as a New Yorker, you do. He has created an absolute mess for the American people, and it's no question, after 50 years in elected office, Chuck Schumer's days are numbered. He was first elected in 1974 to the New York State Assembly, 1980 to Congress, and 1998 to the Senate. He will announce at some point in the near future that he's not running for re-election, because if he doesn't, AOC will take him out in a Democratic primary.
Well, what about the No Kings rally chief, Congressman Gill, saying that they're going to primary anybody that they don't like? I mean, this is a crack up. Look, for example, I believe the MAGA coalition has got to stay united if Republicans, you've got to keep that coalition of working men and women. I think with a successful economy that the president has laid a very strong, solid foundation on, that will help everybody to prosper. That will keep the coalition together, in my view. And as foreign policy success will keep America safe. And if safety and security and obviously the economy and prosperity drive elections, then we should be looking pretty well a year from now.
That's exactly right. As Senator Hawley was right whenever he said the Republican Party is the party of the working class. We're the party that is bringing your taxes down, that is making life more affordable. We're the party that's making sure that Washington isn't spending more money than it's bringing in, driving up a massive debt that our children and grandchildren are going to pay for, and that is crowding out private investment in the United States. We are the party who's going to bring down the cost of health care and the cost of living and the cost of housing. And Democrats have nothing to show. You know, just ask yourself, what have Democrats accomplished in the past year? They've accomplished absolutely nothing. They've done nothing but shut the government down, nothing but create chaos, and nothing that would improve the lives of the American people.
And Congressman Lawler, I'll give you the last word. The fact that they wanted, you know, the chaos at airport after airport all around the country to continue, the fact that they didn't care about 42 million Americans that desperately need the food assistance that their government promised them, they didn't care about them. They wanted the leverage. That is not a good look. I think that's losing the plot.
No question about it, Sean. Democrats in the Senate voted 15 times to defund SNAP and WIC, to not pay our federal employees, including our troops, air traffic controllers. They inflicted unnecessary pain on the American people, and sadly, they want it to continue. We'll see tomorrow in the House how many Democrats vote to keep the government shut down. It's an embarrassment to our nation, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Last exit question, yes or no. At this time tomorrow night, will you be voting to keep, in other words, to reopen the government? Will the Republicans have the votes? Congressman Gill.
Yes.
Congressman Lawler, there you go.
Yes, absolutely, we will.
Thank you both. All right.